Hi, I'm Tiffany Slowinski, owner of Bridgewater Lifestyle magazine, here with our next edition of Lifestyle Live. Today we have Karen Kwong, owner of Photography by MuSen. She came into our office here at Prime Work to give our readers, I guess followers, a little bit of insight about her photography background.
Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
So Karen, what inspired you to get into photography?
Oh yeah, when I growing up, I always loved portraits. I'm like one of those people that get my portraits taken religiously, at least get an update every year. And I would like visit different studios or have photographers come into my house to take photos. And I also like to style myself. I'm kind of into fashion. And especially especially after I have my girls. I have 3 girls. I'm like one of the moms that take them to taking portraits like multiple times a year. So I always love it, and I got my first the fancy camera as a gift after I was found out I was pregnant with my first daughter, and I've been just taking it as an amateur. But after I got pregnant with my 3rd daughter, I got really into newborn photography. So I discovered Anna Brand, and later on I took a lot of her workshops, and she was also one of my mentors for the photography business. I discovered her on YouTube. So I've been following her all along and watch all the videos, how she wrapped a newborn, posed a newborn. It got me really interested. So I've been following her for quite a while. But I still didn't have the courage to have a photography business myself. But I just been really taking pictures of my own kids. Is as a practice, but then there's a little there's a trigger point to it is the 100 days photography is always a big thing in my culture. So I found a photographer for my 3rd daughter for that.
So when they're 100 days old?
Yeah, when they're 100 days old, that's more important than newborn and in my culture. And I hired a photographer. I was really blown away by her portfolio online, but then soon I found out that she's just very difficult to reach, get a hold of her, and she wouldn't answer my emails, and then I was left clueless about what to do with the 100 days because she's supposed to come in house to take it, and I never did that. When my older 2, I took them to the studio to do it. So I don't know what to do, how to prepare when it's an in-home session. And the thing is, unfortunately, just very last minute, this day on the picture day, she canceled the session. So left me kind of really don't know what to do. So I felt so bad. So I picked up my camera and I took the picture myself because I have pretty much everything there, the outfits, the setups, and the picture just came out just so. And I just felt so guilty about it with my 3rd daughter because I feel like she's not getting that particular portrait compared to her older 2 sisters. So every month I would set up a theme. I would take a picture of her and I would share on my Facebook. And that's how I invested my first set of backdrop, stand, and some props. And I still was taking pictures in auto mode. And I was still using just natural light. I didn't know how to play with the lights, and I didn't even know how to edit. I was using my phone app to edit at the time. But people like my pictures, so I actually started to have neighbor moms and contact me through Facebook and willing to pay me to take pictures of their kids, and that really got me very excited. So I decided to take more private classes with some local, very established photographers around, learn how to shoot in manual mode, learn how to use studio lights, learn how to edit in Photoshop and Lightroom. And somebody told me that I need to really, if it's a business, I need to be registered. I need to have insurance because I'm going to be dealing with kids and babies. And so I decided to register a business, and that's how I got started.
So you were mentioning your culture, the 100 days. Today's actually Chinese New Year, right?
Yes,
you want to tell our followers a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. So for Chinese New Year, every New Year I will repost one of my most popular blog posts. It's called Inside the Chinese Culture, Baby's 100-Day Portraits. And I have thousands of viewers every month from all over the world to visit that blog, and I will repost it today as well for you. In there, I talk about the challenge of how to take 100 days, baby pictures and what kind of workflow that I use. And I really want to be like the go-to person in this particular area, because I know this 100-day baby portraits are such an important thing, baby milestone in my culture, and also in other, I think a few other Asian cultures as well. Yeah.
So in addition to the newborn and 100-day photo shoots, what do you specialize in? What do you like to do?
Yes, I'm specialized in baby and family. So in babies, my most popular sessions are newborn and first birthday, and 100 days as well. And also, I also offer sitter, which is like when baby about between 6 and 10 months, but they can sit up by themselves. And those are the milestone packages that I offer. And also for family, I mostly do the families outdoor, and that's during the time where the weather is nice outside, it's warm outside. And I also do extended family. I do a lot of reunion pictures with all this family, have a Thanksgiving together or like a major holiday to decide to get together, and I take those pictures as well. Yeah.
So obviously things have changed a bit since COVID.
Right.
What can parents expect when they book a photo shoot with you right now? What kind of precautions are in place?
Yes. Well, because I'm specialized in baby photos, so the hygiene and safety of the babies always has been a top priority. So that hasn't really changed. So all the props and all the things that are going to get in touch with baby will always be sanitized before and after the session. And during the session, practice frequent hand washing. That's like a requirement, especially for newborn, because we'll be posing the baby. But during COVID, obviously, when I go into a session, I will be wearing a mask. And indoor, I actually wear an N95 mask. And I will wear a medical exam gloves if I have to touch the baby. And also, I would communicate with the parents ahead of time to find out their comfort level. Because not every parent feel like, they want me to touch the baby. Because when I pose the baby, dress the baby, they need to be sit right here in my lap, and I need to, that's how I wrap them, right here in my lap. And that's very close. And if the parents don't feel comfortable, I completely understand. So I have people, parents that come into the newborn session and say that I don't want any of your outfits. I generally provide all of those, and they say I just want my baby to in their own outfit, which is completely fine with me. And also they might have another caregiver, like a family member that they trust to come into the session, and instead of I handle the baby, they'd be like, Karen, can you just tell her or him what to do, so they can wrap the baby for me, or they can, like, when they pose the baby, they can come here to fix my hair, to touch the baby and do all that, and that's totally fine. I would just work with their comfort level and find out what they want. And especially with the first birthday, that's a type of session that you can definitely to be taken from further than a social distance. So for that, I introduced the outdoor. Because normally I've been doing first birthdays and case match indoor. And now during the pandemic, if the babies, the session falls into like a fall or summer time, I would just set up everything in their backyard.
And it's
do it outdoor.
Easier to clean up the cake smash anyway.
Yes, and now just do it that way and from a social distance. Because at that age, I don't have to touch the baby at all. So that's something that I do different. And I mean, family is always being the same as outdoor, and even though when it's outdoor, I wear a mask myself, and I take a picture from the social distance or further than that. Yeah.
So a few months back, you worked with us on an article giving some tips for some cell phone photography.
Right.
Do you want to go over some of those tips with our followers?
Oh yeah, sure. So there's 3 tips that I give out in the article, and I think are very important for cell phone pictures. The first is to find the right lighting. So a lot of people might think that, the background is more important, but I can tell you now that the light is the most important thing in the photo shoot. If the light is right, a lot of things are right. I mean, background you messed up, there's apps, you can fix it up, you can remove stuff. But then if the light is wrong, then the picture would be like a huge difference. So it's important that in my article I just share how to find the light source. So for the number 1 tip is like try to avoid any harsh light, like any light that would directly throw onto your face and cause like a very harsh shadow. Or if you are taking pictures outdoor, watch out for those spotlights like coming through the leaves or anything that gets all those shadows, like little blotch area on your face, and that's really hard to remove later on. And a good tip is like to have the light coming into like a 45 angle to your face, or try not to make the background brighter than yourself, because if you don't have the proper equipment with you, or you might get your face complete to be like black, like dark, versus like now you have a very bright background. So always try to have the light coming from like an angle to your face. And also if you're doing anywhere like indoor, inside the house, natural light, the curtain near the porch or window would be a great light source, natural light source. But if the light's too harsh, you can always put like a sheer curtain or something to help you to soften the light. So that's my number one tip. And number two is to find the background. You just have to like make sure that, you know, when you take pictures, there's nothing in the back that kind of look like a branch sticking out of your head. That happens a lot, right? And you could, if your subject cannot move, right? If you're the person that's taking the picture, you have to be able to move. But, you know, safely, you can move your position up or down or left or right until you see your person, the object in the background, you know, to be in the right position. And try to not pick anything that's like super busy. Say if that takes the attention from what you try to photograph. So I always try to go with something that's nice and plain and clean, you know, for my photos. And also, I think in a lot of phones that has nowadays, I'm mainly talking about portrait, by the way, because that's what I do. Because I mean, you take landscapes probably a little different. So I'm mainly talking about portraits. So if you see a lot of phones nowadays has the portrait mode, and I have a Samsung, I think I use light focus mode. When you tap on it, it would have the feature to automatically blur out the background for you, and I think that's a great feature to use. So if you have those modes, you should try to use those modes to take the portraits. It will give you a lot better effect. And
better than my selfies.
Yeah. Actually, I you know, selfie is such a big thing now, and I actually not very good at taking selfies. I mean, that's something I need to learn. Like something I need to. I think the angles of all the selfies are pretty interesting. I'm terrible at taking selfies, by the way. And the third tip that I gave out is to try to follow the rule of third. So if you remember what it means that each picture is like a frame. So say you have a frame, can I just use this magazine? Sure. And a lot of phones would turn on that grid for you. So you're gonna have 3 lines here, 2 lines here horizontally that cut the plane into 3 equal space, and then vertically the same. And then you try to position your object either on one of the lines or in the intersection. So that's the rule of third, which I give out more in-depth details in the article, that if you try to follow that, you were instantly creating a different image that would draw, because it plays with that human psychology, that just humans, when they look at objects, their attention just goes to those intersection or horizontal lines. And you know, you try to follow that and turn on the grip on your phone, and voila, I mean, your pictures would be just a lot more different, because a lot of people take pictures, they like to have the object to be like straight in the center, right? So move a little bit off the center.
Well, like you, I'm a girl mom, and I'm lucky if I can even get the kids to look at the camera, and I'm less worried about the rule of thirds and the portrait. But I gotta step up my game, because my cell phone pictures are not very good. And there's typically at least one kid like looking at the floor while I'm trying to take a picture.
I mean, I think that's
why we go to the professionals.
Yeah, I mean, when we have little kids involved, there's a lot of tricks that we do to get the kids' attention. And then in post editing, I mean, you know, we swap people around.
Little face swaps.
Yeah, little face swaps, and you know, especially for a big group, or like with smaller kids in there. Yeah.
So if somebody was interested in seeing your work or possibly booking you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can visit my website. Is www.musenphotos.com. It's MUSEN photos.com. And then my Instagram and Facebook handle is MUSEN photo as well. By the way, I'm a city lifestyle ambassador, so come to visit my author page and read my articles. Yeah.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for coming today and for giving our viewers a little bit of insight into your photography business, and also some tips and tricks so they could take some good photos themselves. Thank you everybody for watching. Tiffany Slowinski signing off from Bridgewater Lifestyle Magazine.
Thank you so much.